My girlfriend has always loved makeup. Every time we went out to have fun, she would try something new, some new lipstick or an innovative look. Her face was always striking and pleasing to the eye. Every now and then I would see her made-up face and think, wow, this girl looks beautiful. However, I never imagined that this would one day lead to her putting makeup on me. Let alone that I would end up going out dancing dressed as a woman and she dressed as a man. I'll explain how we got to that point. It was a cloudy afternoon that turned to rain. We were supposed to go out dancing together that night. We were going to meet up with other couples we were friends with. I never liked going out dancing because I'm really bad at it. I'd rather go to the movies or just have a drink and chat. But you know how it is, girls love to dance, and we have to go with them. That afternoon I looked out the window and saw that the clouds were getting thicker and grayer. I didn't want to tell my girlfriend, but I didn't feel like going out dancing or anywhere. I was tired from a hard week of work. I preferred to stay at home. But I had already refused to go out the month before, precisely because of work. If I kept insisting on staying at home, my girlfriend would get angry. That's why I was a bit glad when I saw the possibility of a storm, because it could be my salvation. In the end there was a storm, and it would change everything. My girlfriend was putting on makeup. I didn't feel like changing. I looked out the window and the sky was black, partly because it was already late at night, and partly due to the color of the clouds. The rain blocked my view of the buildings in the neighborhood. "Hey, Emily," I said to my girlfriend through a small opening in the bathroom door, "it's raining too much." Emily came out of the bathroom. One eye had eyeliner on, the other not yet. She looked out the window and grumbled. It was clearly not the ideal night to go out. It didn't take long for her to call her friends and cancel the night out. I felt a little bad for her, but it was also a relief. I let Emily know I was going to lie down for a while. She said she was going to finish her makeup. This didn't surprise me, as she was always trying new looks, even on nights when she wasn't going out anywhere. I went to lie down on the bed. An hour later Emily showed up at the door. She had done her makeup beautifully, with an orange color on her lips and a grayish-blue color for her eyelids, like rain in the autumn dusk. Perhaps in homage to that very night. I told her she looked very pretty, not to flatter her, but because I could do nothing but be honest. She had really impressed me. I could see two different feelings on her face. On the one hand, frustration for not being able to go out with her friends. On the other hand, her mouth had twisted into a smile. I realized that the smile was directed at me when she asked, "Would you like me to do your makeup? It could be fun." At first I thought she was referring to some kind of facial routine. Perhaps she had noticed some pimples on my face. I grabbed a small mirror I found on her nightstand and noticed that I had nothing on my face. But Emily was still looking at me and giggling. "What do you mean with makeup?" I asked in turn. My girlfriend was more direct this time and told me that she wanted to test how her makeup would look on a guy. And of course I would be the ideal volunteer, being her boyfriend, and also being there with her, trapped by the rain that was falling harder and harder on the roofs and walls of houses and buildings. Don't get her wrong, she meant it with no malice, she just wanted to have a little fun. I of course thought about refusing outright, but at the same time I felt a bit of guilt for having refused so many times to go out with Emily. So I accepted her strange offer to make up for her boredom and to make her happy. This wasn't worth fighting over. And that's how I wore women's makeup for the first, but not the last, time in my life. After 50 minutes my face was almost completely transformed. My nose looked much thinner, my cheekbones fuller due to the effect of the blush. My eyelids were a beautiful bluish color, and my lips were lined in deep red. "You look so pretty," Emily exclaimed, then hugged me. She handed me a mirror to look at myself. I looked really wonderful, but of course I wouldn't admit it. On the contrary, I pretended to be a little upset that I had to go through that. But inside I felt quite the opposite. I wondered why I hadn't tried makeup before, if only as a joke. Maybe it wasn't that I liked makeup as much as I liked my girlfriend's talent for applying it. Either way, my first impression was very good. We went to the kitchen and made ourselves some delicious peanut butter sandwiches. As I ate my sandwich, I was afraid that my red lipstick would smudge. Funnily enough, not only was I made up like a woman, but I even thought like one. My girlfriend helped me take off my makeup. She took hers off, and soon after we went to sleep, under the sound of the rain that luckily was not as copious as before. The following week it didn't rain, and we were able to go out with the couples we were friends with. But we didn't go dancing, but to have a drink in a pub, as I preferred. It was a month later that we all went dancing, and I dressed as a woman for the first time in my life. My girlfriend came up with an extravagant idea. We would all go dancing, the boys dressed as girls and vice versa. She told me that her girlfriends loved the idea and that they would surely convince their boyfriends. I doubted very much that they could convince them, to tell you the truth. Of course, it didn't take much prodding from her to convince me. On the contrary, I was waiting for such an opportunity. I had spent the last month imagining myself in makeup and a dress, and maybe wearing high heels. The very idea made my heart beat faster. So while on the outside I appeared somewhat annoyed by the idea of cross-dressing, on the inside I was eager to put makeup on again and wear women's clothes. Unfortunately, I couldn't wear a dress because we were already entering winter and it was very cold that night. So I went out wearing a blouse, a black sweater, women's denim pants and black boots. I also wore a black wig that reached my shoulders and makeup, including red lips and dark eyelids, to match my outfit. It wasn't the girly outfit I would have liked, but it gave me the feeling that I could pass for a real woman. For her part, my girlfriend wore a boy's shirt, pants and shoes, pulled her hair back under a wool cap, and put on makeup to make it look like she had a beard. She also glued a fake mustache on her face. This last detail in particular I found very cute. We joined the other 3 couples outside the club. Of course, I was the one carrying the purse. As expected, the only couple that had cross-dressed was the 2 of us. I knew the girls wouldn't be able to convince their boyfriends. My girlfriend's 3 friends complimented me on my look. Curiously, I was dressed similarly to one of them. They told me that if they hadn't known the truth beforehand, they would have mistaken me for a real woman. I told them that it was all thanks to Emily's excellent makeup work. That night I had a great time inside the club. I didn't care about anyone's opinion, much less the opinion of the other 3 guys who mocked me for agreeing to dress as a girl. In my opinion, they were the losers, not me. I felt fantastic in my blouse, boots and makeup. In fact, it was kind of hard to keep pretending to be upset. I think Emily began to realize that I enjoyed being dressed as a woman, although to this day I still refuse to admit it. We returned home after dancing for several hours. I decided not to drive as my feet hurt from dancing with my boots on. My girlfriend smirked and told me that if I had worn high heels it would have been worse, so I would have to mentally prepare myself for the next occasion. But there would be a next time. I can't know yet. Inside I'm aching to wear a dress and heels and go out dancing again. No need for my girlfriend to dress up as a guy, though. We can both wear dresses. I might start learning about makeup so I don't rely so much on Emily to get myself ready to go out. Who knows, maybe someday I could do both her makeup and mine. And maybe we can dance together and tear up the dance floor, even if my feet hurt. The end.